All right, so I'm going to run you through some examples of how to start listing for beginners hot selling products to Poshmark so that you can drop ship them, okay? Now, keep in mind with Poshmark specifically, and we're going to talk about Mercari here in a second as well. It's slightly different, but same overall strategy essentially, as it would be on Amazon, as it would be on eBay, as it would be on Facebook Marketplace as well, right? So let's go over the Poshmark example here in the beginning, right? So on Poshmark specifically, the main thing that's going to sell well is going to be clothing. Clothing is the main thing that sells on Poshmark. It's men's clothes, it's women's clothes. More so it's women's clothes because a lot more women shop on Poshmark, but they both do sell well, right? And also you can list home goods now. So anything pretty much in the home category. You can also list kids clothing, kids toys, stuff like that, and pets as well. So keep in mind that any of those things you can list to Poshmark now. It's not just clothes. But because this kind of tutorial is geared towards beginners, and right now we're specifically talking about Poshmark, I'm going to give you two examples of beginner methods that you can find to start listing stuff on Poshmark so that you can make money, okay? So we're going to use the example of clothing, and we're going to go women's clothing here because in my experience, it sells the best on Poshmark, although like I did touch on like 30 seconds ago, those are not the only things that you can sell. You can sell pet products, you can sell kids toys, you can sell home decor. All that stuff also sells well on Poshmark if you find a good product, okay? So there's many different ways to approach finding hot selling products. Obviously, in a perfect world, you want to find an obscure supplier that not many other people are sourcing from, so you're not competing in a saturated market with a lot of the same products, right? So you can do a number of different things. You can look for trending items. You can go to like, Google Trends. You can look to see like movers and shakers on Amazon, stuff like that. Also, the time of year is going to be very, very relevant, right? So right now it is July. And so in July, obviously things that are like summery, like bathing suits or cover-ups or anything like that is going to sell a lot better than, winter clothes, right? Although as we approach winter or as it gets like later on into fall, then like jackets and things like that, snow pants, stuff like that is going to sell better, right? So the time of year, the location, all that stuff matters. Keep that in mind. But just to give you some examples to kind of get you thinking here, what I am right here is I'm in bestsellers on Amazon, and obviously I have Walmart pulled up, and I'm going to pull up some categories here and just start listing with you, right? And these are good beginner places to start for a lot of people, but you don't just want to list from here because then everybody goes here, everybody lists from the same exact top selling products, and you're just entering a saturated market and it's going to be tough, right? So for example, let's just say hypothetically this was a good idea. We're going to go to clothing, shoes, and jewelry. Then you want to maybe pick one of these. Watches tend to sell well on Poshmark, and also you can upsell them pretty significantly when you're drop shipping. So let's go to like, where is it? Let's go women, and we'll go bathing suits. I'm not seeing any bathing suits. You could also list watches. You could also list like handbags and wallets or anything like that. So let's just type in like women's bathing suit in the search bar, and we'll see what pops up top, right? So you can start listing any number of these, right? So let's say hypothetically I wanted to list this one and I wanted to list this one. Well, the same exact way that you list on Facebook Marketplace with Z-Drop is going to be the same exact way that you list onto Poshmark, right? Not many things change here. So what I'm going to do is I don't really need to select the size, but I do want to see like that all the sizes are in stock here. So for example, like if you were going to list the extra small, the medium, the large, the XL, and the 2X, you want to make sure that all of these are actually in stock. And then you also want to look at the price right here too, and then list whichever one is the highest price, right? So for example, the extra small is $33. If you go to like the extra large, okay, it's the same price. If we go to like the medium, okay, it's the same price, right? So you want to check them all and then list the highest price. Quite often, one will be like $1 or $2 more. And then you want to base all of your listing off of that higher price, not the lowest one, right? Because you don't want to be, losing money on any of these. So if you list high off the highest price, it'll give you the safest way to list essentially and make that money, right? So same thing here, right? Instead of copying to Facebook with Z-Drop, you're going to copy to Poshmark, and it's just going to pull up the Poshmark listing. It's going to input the pictures into Poshmark, and then, the title and the description as well. And then you pretty much, also hit the paste. And then you pretty much need to just, kind of fill out the listing, make sure it looks half decent here. So here we are on the Poshmark listing right now, right? And it's got all the pictures in there. It actually looks like it added them twice, but that's totally fine. You are only limited to character-wise on your title and your description. Unlike Facebook Marketplace, you can list a little bit more. Even though your title and description is limited there, you get a lot more space to put things. So you need to delete 29 characters here, specifically for this title, but I forget the exact amount that you're allowed to have. But I would just make this look good, right? Like women's vintage swimsuit, two-piece retro high-waist bikini, and see if that fits. Okay, we still need to do more, so let's go like two-piece high-waist bikini. There we go. Now here, you're still 260 characters over as well. So again, we're just gonna delete some of these things, delete some of these things. And you really need to kind of decide, like, are you into volume or are you into quality of listings, or a mix of both? Both of them work well. I wouldn't necessarily say like, just go quantity or just go quality and go super slow. You want to do a mix of both. You want quality listings, but you want to get them up as fast as possible. And obviously, once you get into the groove, you start listing and you get like a few in, you'll get a lot faster and you'll kind of develop a system. So it works very, very easily, right? So here we are right now on this. Now, category, we're going to categorize it. So again, here we had the example of home, if you're listing in the home category, the example of pets, the example of kids, and then obviously men's and women's clothes. This is women's swimsuit. Where are we at here? Swim. And we're going to say that this is a bikini because it's not a one piece and it's not a cover up. So it's a women's bikini, right? Now, quantity, we're going to have multiple quantity and multiple sizes, right? So what sizes are available for this specific one? Well, it was extra small, small, medium, large, and XL. So extra small all the way to 2X. And again, you're going to want to make sure, if you didn't originally, you want to make sure that all of these sizes are actually available, because you don't want to list a size that's unavailable to you. And it does look like the majority of them are available. So extra small, small, medium, large, XL. And then you could add the 2X if you wanted to go into plus size. I'm just going to leave it like this for the sake of showing you, okay? Now, I generally come in and just put these all 10. You can go 5, you can go 3. I would put them to a number specifically where, like, if you start getting orders, you don't have to constantly go back and change them, although you can always change them even after you get orders, so it's not a big deal. But don't go overboard. Don't put these to like 100 or like 50 right from the get-go. Start small, then you can adjust them as you get sales, right? Yes, it has tags because it's new. Yes, add it to your boutique because it's new. I don't really ever worry about putting the brand in. It doesn't really matter to me. Honestly, I don't really ever worry about putting the colors in. It doesn't really matter to me, although you can. So like you could say this is green and white if you really wanted to. I don't find that matters too much. I feel like people kind of go off the description, the title, and mainly the pictures. But some of this other specs do kind of matter. Then right here, the tags. So you can put 3 tags in on Facebook or on Poshmark, excuse me. So we're going to go like bikini. We'll say like swimsuit, and we'll say bathing suit as our 3 tags, okay? Now, this is just the way I approach it. Some people will put the original price like super high and then discount it to like, 85 or something to make it look like it's, a timely sale. I don't think that looks good. I don't like that. And so what I like to do is I'll put the original price as 0. I think it looks a lot more flush and professional. And then I'll put the listing price to whatever I decide to, okay? Now, the key here is you're sourcing this, depending on if you're tax exempt, you're going to be paying taxes, right? Or maybe you won't be, okay? So if you're tax exempt, it's a lot easier to obviously judge this right here, right? If you are not tax exempt, then you're going to have to pay taxes on this depending on the state. Now, the highest state, I believe, is California, I think, with 9% sales tax or something like that. So a rule of thumb that I always like to have is just multiply it by 10, right? Or sorry, multiply it by 0.1, which is 10%, because it's really easy to calculate if you round up, and I'll show you that here in a second. And that covers all of your different, states. So God forbid, like you go to Cali, you're paying that 9%. You already calculated that into your what you're paying to source it, right? And if you're going somewhere else that's cheaper or doesn't have sales tax, for example, like Florida or I think, Oregon might be another one or something like that, or any of the states that don't have sales tax where you don't have to pay it, then, even more benefit, you're just making a higher margin, right? So this is easy. If we round this up, it's $32.99. We round it up to $33. Well, $33, what's 10% of that? It's $3.33, right? It's really, really easy. You just move the decimal point over, or you can just have a calculator out if you really want to and multiply it by 0.10 or 10% of it, right? So we can assume that if I'm paying 10% sales tax here, and I am obviously tax exempt on Amazon, but if I was paying sales tax here, I would just assume 10%, right? So I round this up, I'm paying $33 plus another $3.33. So my estimated cost here would be $36.33, right? So anywhere in the country I can have this shipped for $36.33. If I can make $36.33 on it, I'm gonna be at least break even. The more I make, then the more profitable I am, right? So right here, it's gonna calculate what you're making. So this needs to be whatever you're comfortable making over $36.33, and then you'll know that you're obviously profitable, right? So you can play around with these numbers here. We can go 45, but that might be too low. Then I'm making 36, so then I might lose 33 cents, or I might barely break even, right? So you want to take this a little higher. Do we want to go 55? Not 455, that would be quite the sale. 55, okay, so then you're making 44. That's a pretty solid one. I like to list a little bit high, so honestly, I might even go like 65 or 59, and then accumulate likes on my listings, and then make likes to offers, okay? Now, if you have any questions on this, I used to teach a lot of Poshmark when I did a lot of reselling, and I still sell on Poshmark reselling wise, but I also drop ship. So if you need more, clarification on what I'm talking about with like accumulating likes and kind of driving more sales by using automation software, which is something I highly recommend that you use on Poshmark, like this simple Posher right here. Or if you need to, learn how to accumulate likes and then make offers to likers to drive sales and kind of simulate urgency, I have an entire Poshmark playlist on this channel that you can check out 100% free, and you can learn all that stuff there, right? So you can list this low if you want. I would tend to list this high because I kind of like listing high. If you get sales, great. If not, you can always accumulate likes and then make offers to likers. It tends to work very, very well because then it's kind of like a timed sale, and people kind of get that simulated urgency and they buy at a higher price point, and you make a higher profit margin, right? So hypothetically, let's say somebody would buy from this listing at $65. Then I would make $52 on this. And then when I sourced it for 36, well, then it's like I don't even know what that is, like 15, 16 something dollar profit margin, right? So then I would go ahead and I would list this, okay? Now, another little caveat with Poshmark that I didn't specifically talk about in this video, but I've covered in other videos, is that you cannot actually use your own label and your own tracking number when you're selling on Poshmark, right? So that presents a challenge specifically when you're drop shipping, because you have to use the Poshmark label, and the Poshmark label needs to be shipped to the customer, or you won't get credit for the sale and you won't get paid out, right? So there's two main ways to approach it. You can and I've covered this in depth in another video. You can go ahead and find it on this channel. I will try to link it all the way down at the bottom of the description if you want to check it out right after this video. There's two main ways to approach it. Basically, in short, you can order it to yourself first, because a lot of these are prime, so it's going to come to you in like a day or two, right? And then you can ship it out in your own Poshmark, box, and you can get free U.S. postage or free USPS priority mailers and free USPS boxes on USPS.com. Literally sent to your house for free, and then you can use them for free, and it doesn't cost you anything, obviously, to package and ship your stuff out, right? Because Poshmark uses priority mail. So that's the one way that you can do it. You can order it to yourself first if it's coming quickly and it's prime, and then ship it out on Poshmark. On Poshmark, you have 3 days to initiate the shipment. And quite often, because I've kind of, teetered that line often, quite often they give you like 4 to 5 days before they even kind of, get on you about it. Okay. So that's one way that you can handle it. Although that does present a challenge in, managing a lot of listings, managing a lot of coming and going of certain things. So an easier way that I've been doing that does work very, very well is you can actually just order this and have it shipped to your customer, keep track of it, and then also ship the Poshmark label with a thank you note of some kind and be like, thank you for ordering the swimsuit. I really hope you like it. It's a new product we're testing out, so I'd love to hear your feedback from it. By now, you should have received the product. I'd love to hear your feedback if you message me, whatever. You can come up with a thank you note. I literally just kind of ramble that off the top of my head, but then send the Poshmark label with a thank you note so that the Poshmark label still gets delivered to the customer. And then you also ship this product to the customer in a different package, right? And so both of those work very, very well. I don't want to cover it too much here because I spent an entire video covering the differences of it and how you can execute it. Like I said, I'll try to actually put it at the bottom of the description. but that's basically how you do it on Poshmark, okay? Now, for an example, let's say that we wanted to list this one, right? So first thing, again, is you want to check to see that all these sizes are in stock. Let's assume that they're all in stock here because I don't want to waste your time. Then again, you're just going to copy it to Poshmark, list it to Poshmark, go through the same process that I just did, and then you just move down the list, right? You can go into like all women's bathing suits on Amazon, or you can even go over to Walmart and go to like same thing. Like you can list sports and outdoors and list it in the home category. You can list, beauty, list it into women's like makeup category on Poshmark. You can list it into like patio and garden, list it again in the home category. You can list baby and then list it under kids. You can you can search for, kids toys or kids games and list it under kids toys. All of these things are possibilities for you, and you don't just have to use Amazon and Walmart, although I'm using them as examples because I know the majority of you will default to these, okay? So clothing, shoes, and accessories, again, if we wanted to do bathing suits, we come into clothing, shoes, and accessories, women's, and then we find like bathing suits. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, swimwear, there we go. And then again, same thing with Walmart. You just list from here, okay? And the benefit of using a software like ZDrop to do this, I will link ZDrop in the description with like $1 off discount or whatever if you guys want to grab it. The benefit of using ZDrop like this is it also is going to store all your products. So if somebody were to come in and order this from Poshmark, right? Well, then you just go to ZDrop, you search for this, a few keywords in the title, and you're able to find that listing, find that URL, and figure out where you actually sourced it from and where you wanted to list it, right? So that's kind of how you approach it. That's how you list on Poshmark, and those are the different things that you can kind of consider when listing on Poshmark. Remember, trending items, obscure suppliers. You can also list from bestsellers and movers and shakers, although keep in mind, a lot of people are going to do that. And the time of year matters a lot, right? Like right now, a lot of people are searching for bathing suits or like, summer wear and like shorts and stuff like that, tank tops, anything like that, sandals, right? Well, as we move into winter or fall, it's going to be completely different, right? So keep in mind those things as well. Also trends. So for example, one of the things that sold, believe it or not, super well for me in the past was when Donald Trump was in office. I used to sell like a squeeze, like stress ball that was shaped like Donald Trump. And it was hilarious because like people would just buy it off the shelves all the time. And it would sell for me like multiple times a day, even on Poshmark, okay? So trends like that, even if it's not clothing, you can still obviously add them in, right? Now, one more thing I want to talk about really briefly is listing to Mercari. The only difference with listing to Poshmark, like I said, is the way that you have to actually ship it out, right? So you have to use the tracking label like we've talked about, the Poshmark tracking label, and I've already covered both a little bit briefly in this video as well as in the video at the bottom of the description how to actually approach that in the two different ways, right? Well, on Mercari, the only thing that's different is, so let's go back to Amazon, for example. The only thing that's different on Mercari is you can list pretty much anything on Mercari except supplements with an expiration date, right? So that said, and there's also some other like miscellaneous things you're not allowed to list on Mercari, like fake money and stuff like that. But like you'll find that out, as you do it. It's not really an issue, right? The only other thing that, changes with Mercari is you need to add a review image of the picture because in their terms of service, they do say that all of your images can't be stock photos, right? And so if you're pulling something from an Amazon listing or from a Walmart listing or from a listing online, all of your images are going to be stock photos, right? And they're not going to catch you every single time, but you don't want to build a store like that where you're kind of playing and teetering on the line. So what you want to do then is you want to find something with like high ratings and then go in and grab a review image of it that looks good and add it as your last picture, right? So if you come in and you use ZDrop, let's take this for an example, even though it's a bad example, right? So if we wanted to come copy this to Mercari, we know that this has review images, so we can list from this. So I would say copy to Mercari. I would let it do its job after a little paste pops up. There it is. So let's paste it in. Let's wait for it to do its job. So it pasted it in there, right? Same thing as before. It pasted all the photos in. It pasted the title as much as it could fit. It pasted as much from the description as it could fit. And it actually pasted some tags in there, right? So the only other thing that you need to do on Mercari, because on Mercari you actually can use your own, tracking number and just have it shipped directly to the customer. The only other thing that you need to do is grab a review image. So you click the ratings, you come up here to all the customer images, and you just want to grab this one. Looks pretty good. You want to to take a snapshot of this, right? A screenshot. So I can use like the snip tool if I wanted to on PC. I know there's one just like it on Mac, although I'm not sure what it's called. And you just want to take like a snip picture of it, right? And then you're going to save it. Save it as like 4:4. You can save it as whatever you want. Doesn't matter. And then just put it in there, right? And now we have the entire listing plus an image that's not a stock photo. So now we're within the terms of service, with their images, right? You're actually not allowed to drop ship technically on Mercari anyway. So it is against the terms of service, but you should already know that, right? Like pretty same thing with Poshmark. It's already against the terms of service on Poshmark. It's against the terms of service to retail dropship anywhere except for Facebook Marketplace currently, I believe, right? So it's against the terms of service on Amazon to retail dropship. It's against the terms of service on Walmart. It's against the terms of service on eBay, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so we've already covered that, right? But to stay within their parameters, you just need to take a review image, and then everything else is the same, right? You add the tags, you categorize it properly, you add the brand. You want you don't need to actually add the brand, although I do from time to time, or you can just go no brand, not sure, which I also do from time to time. Here I'm going to categorize it quickly because I don't really care because I'm not actually listing this, but like obviously you want to find the right category. Often it will suggest a category to you and you can just pick one, so that goes a lot faster. Same thing with the color as Poshmark. I rarely put the color in, although you can. This obviously doesn't have a color because it's just earrings. And then you want to say like, where am I shipping it from, right? Here is where it makes a difference on Mercari, right? So you don't want to have the buyer because then the buyer is going to be paying for the shipping, right? The only way that you can actually dropship effectively here is if you go, I'll pay, and then once this pops up, it says, I'll pay. Why is it not popping up? What did I miss? Oh, the subcategory. We'll just say baby dolls, even though it's not, right? So then right here again, right, like I'll pay. Why is it not popping up? Usually it does. Oh, the title and category. Okay. Sometimes like there's like a little bug here where it's like if you don't ever click in the title really fast or in the description, it just won't register for some weird reason. But just keep that in mind. You'll pick that up pretty quickly. So again, you don't want the buyer here. You want to go I'll pay, and then you want to come in and say ship it on your own. Do not use a prepaid label. Same thing as Facebook Marketplace, right? And then you click save. And then just down here again, you want to make sure smart pricing is turned off. Otherwise, Mercari will lower your prices periodically, automatically, to try to drive sales. And then the same thing as Facebook Marketplace, the same thing as Poshmark. You basically just want to make sure you're profitable, right? So like, what do you want to sell this as? We could list it as like 19, and then we would make 16.25, but it only costs us $9.99 plus tax. And again, you can use the same little tax trick. If you're not tax exempt, just take 10%. So you can round this up to 10, take 10% of that, which is $1. Then it's going to be $11 to anywhere in the country. And then right here, you'd make like $5, right? Or you can list this higher at like $25. It's really up to you. But that's basically how you do it on Mercari. That's how you do it on Poshmark. The only difference, again, to hit it home, is Poshmark, you need to ship the label. There's 2 ways to do that. Check the link or the video in the bottom of the description. I'll also pop it up in the right-hand corner right now if you want to go there directly. Same thing with Mercari, right? The only thing with Mercari is while you can use your own tracking numbers on Mercari and you can ship it out on, just directly to the customer, you do need to have a review image in there. So you can only use listings with review images in them so that you can take them. You can find them on Walmart. You can find them on Poshmark. Often you can find them on some of the other sites as well. But just wanted to cover the basics of this because this is a question I get asked a lot. Like, how do you actually drop ship on these platforms? What's my process to go through it? It's very, very similar. There's only slight differences, so I really hope that helps. If you appreciate the value in today's video, give it a thumbs up. I genuinely appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.